Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. I am Tanya Romine, and I am your worship associate this morning. I'm also a member of this congregation. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, our intern minister, Liz Martin, who's here, there she is, and Director of Religious Exploration is Lexi T. Brown, our music director, Alex Peach, and this morning's musician, Meredith McCaskey. And yes, and also our wonderful greeters and our technical team that are making today's live stream possible. I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, all are welcome here. So some announcements this morning is MCY is thrilled to offer both the 4th through 6th and 10th through 12th grade levels of Our Whole Lives, or OWL. Sexuality education curriculum beginning next Sunday, January the 11th. There is a mandatory parent orientation today, beginning during second hour. Locations are included in your order of worship. We have a new second hour offering starting today as well. The parent-guardian meetup will happen on the first Sunday of every month. It is an opportunity for UUMAN caregivers to gather while kids are in religious education or the nursery. Come swap tips and concerns, share news, and talk about the ups and downs. Childcare for this event has been arranged for families attending this offering. Please, again, consult your order of worship to see all of our second hour adult enrichment offerings. Now we have an announcement from Kelly.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Callan, and I and my family are members here at UUMAN. Yeah? I'm doing well, Martin. Martin also is a member of UUMAN, as well as his family. As you can see, I'm not really a big football fan. I don't know about Martin, but what I really am a fan of is tailgating. My family are Buffalo Bills fans, and so while I don't always watch the game, I am always about the tailgate. I hope that you will be directly after service, and all are invited to join us for tailgating food and beverages as we celebrate. And directly after, we will be doing a condensed version of what many people know our beloved yearly auction is. So we'll be right here in the sanctuary enjoying our popcorn, pizza, and snacks as we enjoy our auction this year at about 11:15. Martin, when you think of football, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, when I think of football, and especially Super Bowl Sunday, what I really think of is an art auction.
That's what I was thinking.
The hard-hitting paddling action.
That's right.
The
Football.
Hail Mary final bit.
That's right. That's right. And so, on that Sunday, please join us as we have a great touchdown winning and bidding on fabulous artwork, vacations, dinners, service items, and homemade goods. Join us February 8th. I will be out on the portico today where you can purchase tickets, and also, if I have inspired you to give anything for the auction, we'll also be signing up for donations for that as well. So see you Sunday, February 8th at 11:15 right here in the sanctuary. Go Bills.
And now let us greet one another with the hand or elbow of friendship. Well, guess what? I forgot to do visitors. If it's not in the script, it doesn't happen. What can I say? So we'd like to welcome anybody that's new for the first time, or if you're returning, it's wonderful to have you back with us again. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to stand up and introduce yourself to the rest of the congregation so that we can get to know you, and feel free to talk to us after the service as well. So do I have any visitors on my left? Hey. Welcome, Jason. Any more? There you go.
Hi, I'm Adam. I attend on occasion Northwest Unitarian. My name is Andrea. So I came for the Christmas moments.
That's great. Welcome back. That's Adam and Andrea? Okay, good. Do I have anyone else on my left? How about on my right? Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I won't stand up.
That's fine.
My name is Krishna. I'm from Gloucester, Virginia, and I came down here to visit my son, Doug.
Well, we're really happy to have you, Craig. Welcome, Craig. So, the chalice lighting today is a little different. I have been following the monks' Walk for Peace, and it has completely overwhelmed my heart. And so there's something that they posted one morning before they began their walk for the day, and I'd like to read that to you. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me, not with someone else, not somewhere far away, not when conditions are perfect, or when the world finally changes, but now, here with me. Peace begins the movement. We become mindful of our breath, the simple sacred rhythm that connects us to the present moment. It begins when we bring awareness to our daily actions, to the way we move through the world, to the choices we make in each ordinary moment. Let peace begin in the way I speak to myself when I make a mistake, in the breath I take before reacting, in kindness I choose when patience feels difficult, in the forgiveness I offer when holding on to hurt feels easier. Let it begin in my home, in the gentleness I bring to those closest to me, in my community, in the compassion I extend to my neighbors and strangers alike, in my daily life, in every small choice to respond with understanding instead of judgment, with love instead of fear. We often look outward, wishing the world would become more peaceful. But the truth is, simpler and more challenging, the world becomes peaceful when we do. When each of us takes responsibility for the peace we carry or fail to carry in our hearts. One person practicing mindful breathing creates ripples. One person acting with awareness transforms their corner of the world. A family practicing peace becomes a refuge. A community practicing peace transforms a neighborhood. And slowly, quietly, persistently, that peace begins with me, spreads to we, and from we to all. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. With my breath, my thoughts, my words, my actions, my presence in this world. This is not passivity. This is the most active, courageous work we can do. May you all beings be well, happy, and at peace. And now, if you are willing and able, would you please stand and sing our opening hymn, number 51, in the hardback hymnal, Lady of the Season's Laughter, verses 1 through 4. Meredith will play through once, and then we will sing together.
Verse 1 and 4. Skipping tune.
1 and 4. 1 and 4.
Here's the melody.
At the beginning of each month, the Social Justice Committee provides an update on past 50/50 collections. In November, we partnered with North Fulton Community Charities, and your generous donations and contributions resulted in a donation to their work in the amount of $2,938.75. Thank you. Our 50/50 recipient for January is the Refugee Women's Network, an Atlanta-based nonprofit that inspires and equips refugee and immigrant women to become leaders in their homes, businesses, and communities. Our speaker this week is Executive Director, y'all will understand when I say the next word, Executive Director Sushma Barakati. She holds a BS in Agriculture from India and a MSW in Social Work from Marywood University in Pennsylvania. A passionate advocate for women's empowerment, she has more than 2 decades of experience advancing gender equality in both the U.S. and her native Nepal. She is a believer in the participatory approaches to community development and has held leadership roles in several diaspora organizations, including serving as president of the Nepali Women's Global Network of North America. Will you please welcome me in welcoming, will you please join me in welcoming Sushma Barakati.
Good morning. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Joan, Carla, and all the congregation. And this is not my first time. That's why I didn't introduce myself before. I have been here before. You guys have been so generous. A few years ago, I want to say like 2 years ago, and since then, we have had a constant connection through the congregation member. I am honored to be here today among you and share that energy because we all need. Refugee Women's Network, like Tanya said, it has been in existence for a long time. It was created by women by refugee and immigrant women for the new coming women at that time. It was created in 1998 as a loose network of women helping women. Now it has evolved into a non-profit organization, and some of the programs that we do are social adjustment. We are not resettlement agencies, we are refugee serving agency. So after the families have arrived in the United States and have a place to stay, and one person in their family has a job, that's when the real needs start, and that's when we come in. And we generally respond to the special need of the women in the family, because women are always taking the back seat when this transition happens. They are always taking care of the children, the extended family members, and just settling in this new world, which is extremely difficult to navigate when you first come. I am an immigrant myself, came here 25 years ago with education, and coming to the university for the education, still it was so tough. And I cannot even imagine coming to the country, very little or no language proficiency or understanding of the system in this country is really, really hard. So that's when we, Refugee Women's Network and a lot of other refugee-serving agencies come in to help these families settle. Their children going to school, finding a doctor, to anything that they need. When they come to us, we help them with our different services. With social adjustment and leadership development services, economic empowerment, where we try to find them jobs, or if they don't want to, they can't be involved in the regular economy or job, we ask them, like, what do you want to do? And then connect them to resources. And with that process, Refugee Women's Network have started a food entrepreneurship development program where we have a chef's club. We have a group of about 40, 50 women from all over the world who are aspiring to be food entrepreneurs. And we help them market their products. And so if you ever need, catering for your big gatherings or, through the church or friends and families, please find us. We would love to do that. And I'm sure some of you have already, had our catered food as well. And the thing goes directly to the chefs. And this year, we are going to start an incubator program, a food entrepreneurship incubator program where among those 50 chefs, we are going to have, few of them are already ready to move forward to establish their own business. So we are going to start a food incubator program, and we also have a shared kitchen. We rent it from the Legacy Park in Decatur. So we are really, really excited to embark in that journey. The other thing that we do, some of the innovative programs like Chef's Club or our outdoor wellness program. We have hiking groups for women. We have been doing that for the last 4 years. This is our 5th year. It is so important for women to come out of their house and be in fellowship with other women from all over the world. If it was not for these kind of programs, most of the refugee and immigrant communities, they tend to stay in their own communities and in their silos. And what that happens is people go in this country for years and years and years, not knowing their neighbors, not knowing another culture. So we want to foster that, sisterhood and learning across different communities so that we can bring understanding among each other. And then, and it is, you can see it when you go for hiking with them. You can see we all don't speak each other's language most of the time, but still we understand each other when we are hiking that, 2 miles or 3 miles trails. So those are some of our innovative programs, but we welcome them for anything, any question they have, any needs they have. And if we at the Refugee Women's Network cannot provide them, we refer them to other organizations who can. And then we walk with them through the process so that, they feel comfortable. And then, so this is a lot of program that we do, but the force behind all this is the staff, the team that we have at Refugee Women's Network. We are about 22 women, all full-time and part-time, coming from all over the world. Most of except 2 staff, all 20 of us are either foreign-born, either refugees or immigrants. Most of the staff are newly arrived immigrants from Afghanistan, Sudan, Somalia, Ukraine. So they are our ears and eyes in the community. And that's how the women and their family find us. We speak among us 17 to 18 languages, so we can interpret, in various communities. So that is our strength, and we believe in taking care of our staff so that we can take care of our communities. So that's why, thank you so much for inviting me today to speak and choosing Refugee Women's Network as one of your recipients for January. Because as you all know, last year has been really, really tough for the immigrant and refugee communities. And we are even bracing for more funding cuts this year. We have already been told by the state human services, which we get about like 55–60% of our funding. Out of our 5 programs that they fund, 4 of them are going away next year, come this October. So we are bracing for a, little difficult time, but I think with all the support that we have been getting from the community, I think we will survive few years, and we have been here before, so we will survive, and with your help. So thank you so much for inviting me and being so generous. Please, I have some brochures on that chair over there, and then we have active Instagram and our Facebook. We have newsletter. Please sign up for our newsletter so that you can follow us in our journey. And please participate in some of the events that we do. It is fun. At the same time, it is very, very, it's a place where you can understand our staff, our community, and what we do more. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share their time, talent, and treasures. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also use the Give Now option in the Breeze app or in the web browser. Again, today is 50/50 Sunday, where 50% of what you donate, including any checks specifically designated 50/50, will be shared with the Refugee Women's Network. And for the entire month, any checks or Breeze donations specifically designated 50/50 will also be shared with them.
Wow, Meredith, that's English Carol in all 12 keys, it sounds like. We accept this sacred offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission and to the Refugee Women's Network.
At this point in our service, we share of our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, just right up here, and state your name and drop a pebble in the bowl and express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via live stream, if you have a joy or a sorrow, please type it in the chat and we will share that this morning.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Ratcliffe. As a Latin American/American, I am feeling a lot of different emotions because I am delighted that Maduro has been deposed, but I am concerned with what's going to happen in the country where I grew up in. I'm also very concerned about how the American government is going to behave. There's a long history of wanting to do things the Monroe way, and there are still a lot of people who are behind the scenes doing what they've always done. And so this is a pebble that I hope the Buddha, Krishna, and Camus can help me deal with the uncertainty of these times in America and in other parts of the world.
Hi, I'm John Watkins, and I want to share something that was shared with us from a friend in Brazil. There's an old Portuguese prayer that says, "And what do you want for the next year to bring you?" Nothing. I don't want it to bring me anything. The only thing I want is for it not to take anything away. May it not take away the roof that protects me, the plate that feeds me, the blanket that warms me, the light that illuminates me, the smiles of my loved ones, health as a treasure, work as sustenance, friendship, companionships, hugs, and kisses. May it not take away my dreams, nor the pieces of hearts formed by people that I carry within me. May it be so.
My name is Nat Parker. I'm a member of the community here. And Jennifer Radcliffe, you expressed exactly what I wanted to point out, only I never lived in Venezuela. It wasn't part of my home. But I'm not a fan of Maduro. He's illegally the president right now, or acting president. The Nobel Prize winner was elected, and she's not able to serve. But I don't know that going over and kidnapping an acting president of another country is really the way we want to use our strength. It just seems so improper, and it's painful. That's all.
I'm Joanna. I'm a member of this church, and I have a pebble of gratitude to Martina, who helped conduct the solstice ceremony, and to Donna, who said, "Hey, you want to ride to the solstice ceremony?" And I said, yes. There was a simple exercise, so simple, And it has changed me. It has really redirected my life in the last weeks. We put on a little card what it is we wanted to let go of. And then I put on the other side what I wanted to replace it with. So I wanted to let go of hiding out, not showing up because I hadn't done enough or practiced enough or whatever. And I wanted to replace it with just show up.
I'm Miriam Patanian, and for those adults who know me, I am a huge fan of comprehensive lifespan sexuality education. I talk about it a lot. I try to talk about it in the right circles. And for some of the children and youth here, they also know that I am a facilitator of our youngest classes for the kindergarten and first grade and for the 4th through 6th grade. You've had a flyer in the order of worship for the last few weeks about upcoming classes for our 4th to 6th graders and our 10th to 12th graders. We cannot do this without enough children in those classes. So for those of you adults who have children of those ages, I do hope that you consider it. I cannot tell you how much it filled my heart to hear that a 10th and a 12th grader were excited for the class coming up. This was the first time that they weren't dreading it. It just makes me so happy. So we also will be offering adult OWL classes, hopefully this calendar year. So it is honestly a life-changing event for everyone, and that's my gratitude.
My joy is the monks that are walking down the streets, heading to D.C. for peace and unity, and I see it happening, and it is a beautiful thing. I'll drop one final pebble for those whose joy or sorrow is too tender to escape the folds of their heart. If you will please just keep everyone in your thoughts for this coming week.
Arjuna swept his gaze across the battlefield. And with what he saw, how could he continue? How could he go on? Because there they were, on the opposing side, some of his very relatives. And here he was, on this side, a member of the Kshatriya warrior caste. And he was panicking what to do. Unbeknownst to him, his charioteer was none other than the Lord Krishna, an avatar of the great Hindu god Vishnu. And he took this opportunity to consult with Arjuna. This story and these teachings are taken from the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu Song of the Lord, a sacred Hindu scripture. And Lord Krishna instructs Arjuna on the bigger picture about life and death, duty and responsibility, freedom and slavery. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that the story of life is also the story of death. The story of death is the story of life. That it's a cycle, that a wheel. and nothing is ever truly born, and nothing is ever truly dies. And what's important to understand is one's responsibility in that karmic cosmic wheel. One's duty, one's place and responsibility. And that as a member of the warrior Kshatriya caste, Arjuna's duty is to fight in the name of righteous justice. I must admit that that conception, duty, is tough for me to wrap my mind around. Yet I can't help asking myself, are my conceptions or ideas of things like duty, justice, freedom, are they true, or are they merely what I've been conditioned to believe to be true? Could duty, responsibility, effort, practice possibly be thought of as freedom? What do we think of as freedom? I would say most of us probably think of freedom as being able to do what one wants without any interference, choosing this over that, doing this as opposed to that, wanting this or that. What does that look like when it's taken to its absolute limits? When one gets what one wants like 100% of the time? Something maybe that we might see in the C-suite corner offices in Silicon Valley, or perhaps Wall Street, or perhaps even in Washington, D.C. I have a name for this. I call it narcissism. Complete freedom in self-centeredness, or possibly the illusion of complete freedom in self-centeredness. Because the Lord Krishna argues that there isn't freedom at all. In fact, it's ignorant enslavement. Freedom, to Lord Krishna, is disinterested duty and a commitment to discipline. Disinterested duty and a commitment to discipline. If you notice the words that Tanya spoke earlier, the word practice was in there many, many times. That's what Krishna's talking about when he talks about freedom. Not about doing what one wants. Commitment to duty, commitment to discipline. And freedom is achieved when we free ourselves from the desires and choices and the fruits of our labors and efforts. Because usually those fruits and desires and fruits of our efforts and all that, those are often the results of us knowing ourselves or what we're doing. Self-ignorance. Thinking we want certain things when really they might not be good for us. Again, in the West, we don't think about freedom in this way. We and narcissists are all about the fruits of our efforts, about results, about getting stuff. Might this be just merely a product of our conditioning? To Lord Krishna and to the Buddhist, again, freedom is disinterested duty and commitment to discipline. And it's actually following the rules somewhat. Zen monk Shinichiro Suzuki writes, "You in the U.S. have an ideal of freedom which concentrates on physical freedom, the freedom of activity. This idea causes you some mental suffering and loss of freedom. If we practice hard and organize our life so that we can meditate well, we will understand what we are supposed to be doing in this life. The meaning is in the effort itself. Those who are attached to the results of their efforts will not have any chance to appreciate it because the results ultimately never come. But if moment by moment your effort arises from its pure origin, all you do will be good, and you will be satisfied with whatever you do. We don't force anything, but once the rules have been decided, we should obey them completely until they are changed. It's not a matter of good or bad, convenient or inconvenient. You just do it without question. That way, your mind is free. So you see the difference? It's a freedom of mind as opposed to a freedom of activity. Could you see that a narcissist could be enslaved by their mind? They have a freedom of activity, but in their mind, they're really enslaved. Writer and philosopher Albert Camus died as a passenger in an auto accident 66 years ago today. I recently read one of his books, The Plague. Actually reread it, actually. I read it way back in college or in high school. But I reread it recently. And the main character is, it's written from a doctor's perspective. His name is Ryu. And it's about what transpires in a quarantine town that is being ravaged by plague, bubonic plague. It was published just after World War II, and since Albert Camus was a member of the French resistance to the Nazis at that time, many thought that that book was that the plague was a metaphor for the Nazis. However, it wasn't. That wasn't his intention. Yet the parallels in it are telling. They are telling. And I must admit that hearing of that parallel, I wanted to reread this book at this time to help me find a way to respond to our current political situation. I say situation, that's probably not the right word, but there are kids here. And I would have to issue a warning of sorts. Camus wasn't a Hindu or a Buddhist, and he would likely find many faults with many of the threads in many of the traditions and sub-traditions within those religions. Yet I found reading that book and knowing a little bit more about his philosophy so many striking similarities, I was astounded. Like the Buddhists, Camus believed that the cosmos is devoid of any inherent meaning in and of itself. He was a philosopher that he called a philosopher of the absurd, that this was absurd. That the universe is amoral, not immoral, not moral, indifferent. Yet, meaning and happiness can be found, Camus believed. How one lives one's life in a life of wisdom and in action. He said, you will never live if you're searching for meaning in your life. Buddhist nun Pema Chodron says, searching for happiness prevents us from ever finding it. And again, Suzuki said, meaning is about the effort itself. Also like the Buddhists, Camus believed that all things are in change. There's nothing permanent. Everything changes all the time. And it makes no rational sense to try to grab on, to hold something, to make it some way permanent, because it will never happen. So he, like the Buddhists, see that the rational thing to do is to learn how to respond and accept what happens. And that happiness and meaning can be found despite the impermanence and merely only being able to accept what happens in an irrational universe. He stressed flexibility. He said, blessed are the hearts that can bend, for they shall never be broken. When I read that, I'm like, that's exactly what the Tao Te Ching says in chapter 76. It says, stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and the stiff will be broken. The soft and the supple will prevail. Krishna spoke of not knowing oneself, of being self-ignorant. To the Buddhists, ignorance is one of the three poisons, along with greed and hatred. To Camus, ignorance was the poison. He said ignorance is the root of all evil. He writes, the evil in the world always comes from ignorance, and good intentions may do as much harm as malevolence if they lack understanding. The most incorrigible vice is being that of ignorance that fancies that it knows everything and therefore gives itself the right to kill. Is it possible that freedom and meaning are created through duty, effort, of what we do, of practice? And if that's the case, what might that practice look like? What might it be? What might it entail? In the plague, the townspeople had various ideas about how to face the plague, about what to do about this pestilence that was ravaging the town. But to Dr. Ryu and his associates, it always came down to the same thing. He writes, many fledgling moralists were going about our town proclaiming that there was nothing to be done about it and that we should bow to the inevitable. But for us, the conclusion was always the same. Our certitude that a fight must be put up, and this way or that, and there must be no bowing down. The plague became in this way our duty, and it revealed itself as what it really was, that is, the concern of all. We should go forward, groping our way through the darkness, struggling perhaps at times, and trying to do whatever good lay in our power. The plague brought on an element of abstraction, a divorce from reality. Still, when abstraction sets to killing you, you've got to get busy with it. Which now brings me to the point as to why I reread this book. At this time, when a pestilence is currently ravaging this country and the world, and I'm not talking about COVID. Our president is a narcissist who operates under the illusion of freedom when he's really a slave of ignorance. And that can be very dangerous for many people. And I don't need to tell you that. We've seen it time and time again throughout this past year. This type of ignorance led to thousands of deaths in Iraq and Afghanistan. And let's not forget for the many soldiers who took their own lives once they returned from those ignorant conflicts. And now we have ignorance in the Caribbean and in Venezuela. Of course, nobody likes Maduro. Camus writes again, everybody knows that pestilences have a way of recurring in the world, yet somehow we find it hard to believe in the ones that crash down on our heads from the blue sky. When a war breaks out, people say, oh, it's too stupid, it can't last long. But though a war may very well be stupid, that doesn't prevent it from lasting. Stupidity has a knack of getting its way. as we should see if we were not always so much wrapped up in ourselves. A pestilence isn't a thing made to man's measure, therefore we tell ourselves that pestilences are a mere bogey of the mind or a bad dream that will pass away, but it doesn't pass away. And from one bad dream to another, it's people who pass away because they haven't taken their precautions. Our townsfolk were not more to blame than any others. They forgot to be modest, that was all. They went on doing their business. How should they have given thought to anything like the plague? They fancied themselves free, and no one will ever be free as long as there are pestilences. For many, this pestilence that we are experiencing is like a bad dream, a bogey of the mind, an abstraction. Yet when abstractions are killing you, you got to get busy with it. Insistence pestilence is the concern of all. It is our duty to get busy with it. So how? Well, with wisdom and with anything that's nonviolent. We have monks who are walking a 2,300-mile pilgrimage as exemplars of peace, compassion, loving kindness. And they say it's not political, but they're going to Washington, D.C. That's called using skillful means. That's how they put it. Myself, I've been to D.C. 4 times in the last 2 months to protest, participate in ongoing protests there, 4 times. Artists, musicians, dancers, composers are canceling performances at the Kennedy Center. No, that concert's not going to happen. That is so effective because it is so publicly humiliating. Narcissistic pestilences do not like to be humiliated. Yeah. Progressives, member of this congregation, are running for elected office. Doesn't matter if they win, they're running for it. That's what needs to be done. We're supporting asylum seekers. This congregation supporting asylum seekers, doing what we can do to shield them from this pestilence. And we have the work of the Refugee Women's Network, doing much of the same thing, protecting vulnerable people who have no resources here in the United States, where the government is definitely against them. Again, we are, and we continue to, need to get busy with it, because this pestilence is the concern of us all. And as much as their ignorance seeks to deny our effectiveness, we must be the antidote, the serum, the inoculation, the vaccine that drives this ignorant pestilence from our country and the world.
In singing hymn number 1028, The Fire of Commitment, in the softback hymnal. Now, if you will join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
This benediction is by Michelle LaGrave. We come to religious community from many paths and with diverse needs. If you have come here seeking comfort, may your pain be soothed. If you have come here looking for answers, may you now have new questions. And if you have come here seeking purpose, may your call be answered. And if you've come here hoping to build a new way, may the path open before you. Go in peace and enjoy your week.